Hello everyone, in today's video I'm sharing my first impressions of Histoire de Parfums 1740, previously known as Marquis de Sade. Histoire de Parfums is a niche house known for creating story-based scent inspired by historical figures and moments. This fragrance inspired by Donatien Alphonse François de Sade, which was born in France in 1740. That birth year explains the name of this fragrance. So this guy was a controversial French nobleman whose name gave us the word sadism. He spent around 30 years in prison and mental asylums. He wrote novels, plays and philosophical texts during his life. Many of these works were banned during his lifetime. His writing explored desire, power, cruelty, freedom, morality and hypocrisy. With this fragrance, Histoire de Parfums, or more specifically the parfumier Sylvie Jourdet, attempted to capture the dark, decadent and hedonistic energy associated with this character, and honestly it captures that energy only to a certain degree. Now I'm gonna spray a few sprays on my hand to just refresh my mind, and for me, if you ask me how this smells, this is a dark, boozy, aromatic fragrance with noticeable leather and resinous sweetness underneath. There is a strong boozy note that reminds me slightly of Angel Share and Crème de Fumée. I'm referring here to that cognac brandy note or whiskey note. However, these fragrances do not smell the same at all. The opening is extremely boozy and strongly alcoholic in character. It smells like old brandy, cognac and dark whiskey. Very masculine and very bold. After the initial blast around let's say 20 or 30 seconds, the fragrance becomes warm, slightly powdery and aromatic. This accord feels quite unique and interesting in its texture. It's velvety, it's a little bit rough at the edges, and from the whole composition the only clear note that I detect is this spicy, alcoholic, cardamom-like accord. The best thing about this fragrance is how well everything is blended. Every accord and note feels glued together naturally. The fragrance works as a one cohesive composition with subtle movements and smooth transition during the fragrance life. In the mid phase of the fragrance, it feels sticky, heavy, boozy and leathery. As you move away from the center of the fragrance, you notice a smoky, incense-like, powdery, aromatic accord that surrounds the fragrance. The first time I wore this fragrance, I honestly was not very impressed. I'm still not as impressed as I've been with other scents from my collection that I discovered recently. The main reason could be that my expectations were pretty much high. I expected something more visceral, more dynamic and more shocking with a stronger wow effect. The scent projection also does not help very much as it stays quiet and subdued. This could be intentional based on the fragrance character. It feels designed to be more intimate and personal, more suitable for date nights rather than screaming darkness, pain or cruelty. The mid-phase stays within the same general scent territory. The boozy and spicy notes soften and blend together much better than in the opening, with powdery hay-like nuance that feels smooth, like a smooth suede leather. At this stage, it reminds me slightly of Under My Skin by Francesca Bianchi. However, 1740's leather accord feels more refined and polished than the one that you find in Under My Skin from Francesca Bianchi. I'm not saying that that one is not good. Here feels more better constructed. There is also a burnt incense stick type of smell present here, likely coming from the alumi resin. As the fragrance develops over time, it becomes more resinous and slightly sticky. I do not detect any animalic, peacy or repulsive notes despite what I read frequently on Fragrantica and other reviews. With imagination, I might sense something dirty underneath, but not really offensive or shocking. Still, this is not a safe blind buy. It does not smell dated or like an old man fragrance as I heard on another review. Instead, it feels classy, elegant and refined, more like a formal event fragrance or a date night scent. There is nothing truly crazy or extreme about this fragrance. I don't really see a strong connection to Marquis de Sade, and I don't think the name does full justice to this scent. My final thoughts on Histoire de Parfums 1740. This scent is simply a dark, boozy, well-constructed fragrance with some smoke, some resin, and you also have some aromatic notes at the opening. Nothing particularly challenging or deeply intriguing for me. It didn't make me very excited to catch wafts during the time I wore this fragrance. There are not so many dramatic ups and downs during development. The changes are very intimate, subtle and very controlled, well constructed, maybe even a bit over polished to the point where it feels just okay rather than exciting. Now, performance is quite solid overall. It lasts around 9 to 10 hours on my skin, except the projection part, which is the strongest in the first 30 to 45 minutes, and after that sits closer to the skin until it becomes a skin scent. Now, compliments. I did not receive any compliments because I just have the scent for like 1 week, 2 weeks at the most. And my girlfriend says that it smells like incense stick. Not very impressed about this scent. I will come back with a full review later in this year. This was my initial impression of Histoire de Parfums 1740, also known as Marquis de Sade. I hope you found something useful in this video, and until the next time, take care.